What's up, family? Listen, on the level conversations right here in the community at our Cleveland Public Library, right here in Cleveland. Listen, we got a treat for you today. We have a special guest, man. I mean, listen, when we talk about community movers and shakers, people that are doing things to make a difference in our community, right here in our town, I want to introduce you to somebody. But first, let me just tell you a few things about this young lady. She is the CEO of 1,000 Ties, winner of the Fox 8's Remarkable Women, inductee of the John Hay Hall of Fame. Come on now. HMA Award winner, Kara Source. And guess what, y'all? She's been on the Jennifer Hudson Show. Give it up for Juwan Smith. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes. This is an honor, man. I'm just happy to see you and say finally be able to make this thing happen. I said, look, we got to get Juwan in here. You know, I've been watching you do things in the community, making a difference with our young people, changing lives, you know, making a difference because, you know, if no one's going to do it, who else will?
Exactly.
Exactly. And so with this community outreach on the level, we're trying to get outside the studio, come in the community, and really talk about some of the issues that we are addressing with our young people and just overall issues in our community, man.
Okay.
Man, so listen, a little bit about you. Tell me, CEO of 1,000 Ties, that's pretty much what you're known for recently, but it didn't start there.
No, it did not start there, but I'm definitely known as the tie lady in the city.
Okay. How did it start for you?
1,000 Ties started after I watched my son have to teach himself how to tie on YouTube. And so that led me to not only wanting to help my son, but help other young men in the community to have those skills that are kind of missing because we have a lot of single parent households. A lot of households are being ran by single mothers. And so we don't have that basic skill of knowing how to tie the tie and other things.
Yeah, that's big. So the 1,000 Ties Foundation, was that your baby? Was that the very start?
No, it was not. So my work started with my educational consulting firm called Getting Our Babies to College 101. And I started that after someone told my daughter that she wouldn't be able to go to college because she had an IEP. And so she needed to focus on just being in the workforce. And so for me, it just became a thing of there has to be options, but who's working with the parents to give us access to those options. And so that's how Getting Our Babies to College 101 started.
Wow. How many years now with the foundation?
Getting Our Babies to College started in 2017.
Okay.
It was actually something that the school asked me to work with the parents on FAFSA. And so I'm like, if you're willing to have me come in and work with these parents, then there has to be other things that we could also assist them with. And so I ended up pitching the idea in the Cleveland Leadership Center Accelerate competition, and I won the education category. And so Eric Gordon was one of the judges. He was the CEO at the time. And so he had his people come find me that next week. And so I had a meeting with him, and that next week I had a contract. I had a contract before it was even a business.
Wow.
So I always tell people that my business had a body, but I had to grow the legs because there was a need, but there wasn't anybody filling the void.
Man. So with the foundation, 1,000 Ties, you reach out to young men. Pretty much a necktie, something small as that, has just catapulted this thing into just the stratosphere. So your son was learning on YouTube. Was that the only inspiration for it, or was it anything else?
That was the initial spark for me. But then I started to look at all of the things that him and his friends, you know, just things they weren't doing. I always tell people the story of when my son went to homecoming and he got out and walked around and I drove them, and he went around and opened his date's door, and all of her friends were so shocked. They're taking their phones out, they're taking pictures like, oh my goodness, he opened the door. And for me, it kind of broke my heart because why don't you know that that's what you should expect? And so the thoughts just became of all of the different things that young men are not doing that we can potentially try to help them, and then connecting them with men in the community, everyday men in the community. Because it's easy to look up to an NFL player or NBA player, but what about your local teacher or your trash man or your maintenance man or your janitor? Like, there's so many regular people in our community that are doing amazing things that they have access to that they could look up to for that type of support.
Wow. So, you know, in any business, being an entrepreneur, you know, trying to start something from scratch is not always an easy run. You know, you face a lot of different challenges. Sometimes it could be funding. Sometimes it could just be people that you know. I mean, just all kinds of myriad of different things that you may face. In your journey in developing A Thousand Ties, what were some of the challenges that you faced?
So my biggest challenge with A Thousand Ties really has been, and this might sound weird, maybe not, but it's been me and accepting a woman running a program for boys.
Wow, wow.
So you would think that I would get a lot of support, but if it wasn't for the Al Grimes and the Eric Gordons, then I don't know how far my program, would really have made it. And then the support of my friend Larice Purnell. So I've had support from those men that are close to me that understand my passion, but it's definitely been a lot of roadblocks and barriers put in place, unfortunately, by, I guess, me and feeling that maybe it's not my place. But when I first came out to Al Grimes with the idea, his thought process was, I'm a mom raising a boy, so why not be the one to lead the charge? And so that has been like a major issue, that we're kind of trying to work past. But then, of course, there's funding for programming that is also an issue.
Yeah, and I know the climate we're in right now, as you know, as we are filming this right now, our government has shut down, unfortunately. So, we face a lot of challenges where those grants and funding sources are being dried up, where we have to come up with more creative ways of funding the programs for our children to be involved in these different activities. And so, listen, we just got to come together. People that are watching this broadcast, listen, if you're out there, entrepreneur, we have to come together to try to reach and get the funding. We can't depend on everybody else. The federal government is doing their thing, whatever. We can't worry about that. We still got to put the grind in, our hustle in to make things happen. And so, I want to say right now, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
What you're doing in the
Thank you.
community with these kids, what you're doing and just, being there, being there.
My grandmother always said, don't complain about it, find a solution.
Okay, Grandma. man. So, I want to get onto this Jennifer Hudson show. She was on the Jennifer Hudson show, being honored as, a remarkable woman. Oh, man, come on. I'm going to just let you have it. Tell me about that, man.
So I am Northeast Ohio's 2025 Remarkable Woman. And so that afforded me a trip to Hollywood with the other 125 from all over the country, but I represent Northeast Ohio. And then I was also a finalist for our region. So there's 5 regions, 3 finalists for each region, and I was a finalist for our region. So not only am I Northeast Ohio's Remarkable Woman, but I'm also a region finalist as a Remarkable Woman. And so the experience was amazing. Out of the 125, the Jennifer Hudson show chose 5 of the women to feature on the show, and I was one of the 5.
Man, listen here, man. I mean, that's big. That's big, to be able to just go from, a foundation, you're doing it with the babies, to just catapult it to the national stage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a major opportunity to be able to not only share the work that I do, but to be in a space with so many remarkable women from all over the country that are doing phenomenal things in different spaces. And it's like when you're in a nonprofit space, you're looking at the void that you're feeling, not realizing that there are a million other voids that are being filled by other people that have been affected by those things.
So other than just being, the CEO of Thousand Ties, you have a lot of other hidden talents. I was researching, doing my little homework. I see that you are also a commercial model, a voice actor. And so tell me, what is that space about?
Well, my careers started in radio, and so I've been doing voice acting since I was 18. The commercial modeling just actually started right when the pandemic happened. Everybody was pivoting. And so I saw this ad for some commercials, and I had done some commercials when I worked in Channel 19 just as like a filler person. But I found this agency, and they just started booking me. So I've been in Purell. I did a lot of Purell commercials. I just did a Dial soap commercial. I do a lot of training videos. So corporations, they bring in actresses and actors to do their training videos. So I get booked pretty often. That's a lot of fun.
Man, that's fine. I told y'all we gonna have some. Man, I told you it's gonna be a treat today. All right, y'all. Listen. So I was on your website. You got a very prominent little saying that you have, and I just want you to kind of expound on what that means to you. Where did it come from? My pain point became my mission. What does that mean?
My pain
Always my
point. So I've had two pain points. That's how I ended up with two businesses. So the first one was with my daughter when she wanted to go to college, and there weren't a lot of resources for her. And then I was actually told that I was just a parent. And so for me, that was a pain point. Like, who are you to tell me I'm just a parent? You know, this is my child. Without my child, you don't have students in your school. So I'm more than just a parent. And so for me, that catapulted me into doing that business. And then my pain point with 1,000 Ties was just this whole void for our young boys, especially the Black and brown boys, where there aren't a lot of resources for them. They're forgotten about until they do something bad. And then we all talk about it, but what were we doing prior to?
Man, you know, I look at people that complain about kids doing this. They're making all these observations about our young people, but there's not someone out there doing it all the time, you know. And so you standing in the gap that many people should be doing, but they're not. You know, we just go be real. You know, we a lot of single parent households. You know, so mentoring is big. You know, what can we do to support what you're doing in our community? What kind of things can we just say here?
We need more men to step up.
Wow. That's it.
And it takes consistency. A lot of our young men, a lot of our young people in general, they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard. People are there for 1 second and then they're not there. You can't come just to take a picture and then disappear and never interact with the kid again. That's just adding to the trauma that they're already experiencing in their real life. So we need consistency. We need men. I understand everybody is busy. I'm busy, but we still find time. You have to make time for this next generation. If we don't help them, we can't depend on anybody else to come in and help them. Nobody's going to save us. They're not sending us a life raft. We have to figure it out ourselves. And so more people need to step up and volunteer. Even like for our mentors, it's a once a week commitment, either a phone call, in person, text message. You don't even have to go get the kid. Just communication, keeping that communication open. They might be having a rough week. They might need somebody to talk to and they can't talk to a parent. You might be that outlet for them. So giving them a safe space or another person outside of their parent that they could potentially discuss things with. And then we always need, donation of funds. People can donate ties at any Cleveland Public Library. So, those are ways that you can support. But the biggest thing is stepping up. A couple hours a month is literally not going to kill you.
Yeah. Is there a website somewhere they can reach?
Yes, so 1000ties.net is for our mentoring program. We have two groups in our mentoring program. So we have our 8 to 12, which is our 1000 Ties Junior, and then we have our 13 to 17. Those are our ambassador boys. So those are boys that been with us for a while. They're getting ready for workforce, so we're training them for workforce and getting ready for college. So we have two different groups, but the program is free to parents. And then we also, what I always like to brag about is we have 100% parent participation. And that is because we also provide resources and information for our parents. So while our boys are getting information, we make sure our moms get information and support as well. Because a lot of times, if you send your child off to a program and then they come home, they got all this energy and wealth of knowledge that they got. But what did you get as a parent so that y'all can sit at the table and kind of compare notes and kind of grow together? So that's one thing that's different about our program than a lot of programs. We are 100% inclusive, where we have stuff for our boys, for their parents, and even the siblings too.
Wow. So let's talk about the next thing. I told you, fire, man. You're an author.
Yes.
You have written how many books now?
I have 9 published titles.
9. Tell me about them.
So I started writing by accident. So when I was doing my research for getting our babies to college, I would go on college visits and I would journal. And so I interviewed Margaret Bernstein at the Authors Expo. And so she kind of flipped it on me and was like, have you ever wrote a book? And I'm like, Margaret, I don't write. And so she's like, have you ever journaled? And I'm like, yeah, I write journaling. I do journaling for my research. And so she said, it's a book. And so she turned my created and edited, helped me create the first book, which is Zakari Goes to College. And so that book has been doing really, really well. But then the next book was Grandma Hattie's Ice Cream. And so it teaches numbers and colors using scoops of ice cream. And that book has won an International Impact Award, and it also was just released in Spanish. So that's like my biggest book. I released it in 2020, and it outsells all my books.
Wow, wow. Is that your favorite out of all of them?
Between that one and Maya, Maya, Maya.
Okay.
So Maya, Maya, Maya is a play on Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Okay.
And that one is a lot of fun. So I like both of those.
Wow.
Those are like my top two.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I was looking at, I say, yeah, you Amazon top 25 book twice.
Yeah, Grandma Hattie's is, I mean, I just got a video from a daycare provider yesterday, and she had a little boy, and I think he might be in like second or third grade now, but he got Grandma Hattie when it first came out, and he used to read it all the time, and he had to do a book report for school last week, and he used Grandma Hattie's ice cream.
Wow.
So this is like, the book, it sticks with the kids.
Wow.
So.
Wow. So finish your sentence for me. If I can do anything to change the world, I would do.
I want resources for our babies. Resources early before they get to high school, and now everybody's scrambling. I think that's one of the important parts of getting our babies to College 101. We're focusing on college prep and middle school, and so a lot of people tend to wait till 11th grade, and by that time it's too late because your GPA probably isn't where it needs to be. You haven't started doing college visits. You're not applying for scholarships. So if we could have resources available to families and children before they get to, I would say before middle school, if we could start having resources in place, access to lots of literacy, helping them, yes, the school is focused on testing, but focusing more on the academics, because that testing, when they get to college, I mean, how many of us actually use that stuff? But it's kind of where the school has to focus. But there needs to be other resources for our children. Because what happened to home ec? What happened to wood shop? What happened to, learning how to write in cursive? That's a part of our curriculum that we teach to kids. Well, why aren't the schools teaching it? There's no way you graduating from 12th grade and you don't know how to write your name in cursive.
Man. I'm looking back here. Look at that. Man, so you're also doing something with Nexstar Media?
So Nexstar is the company that runs the Remarkable Woman contest.
Okay.
So they're over Fox 8. And so our stars, they're actually authenticated. I don't know if you looked at the back, but it has a certificate of authentication. And so the people that make the stars on Hollywood Boulevard, that's who made that star. Wow. So they're real.
Celebrity in the house, y'all. I'm telling you, man. This is what it's about. On the level conversations. Getting out there, talking about real issues, talking to real people. Listen, Jawan Smith, I want to thank you, man, for your time.
No problem.
And also, you got a website, too, JawanSmith.com, too.
Yes, JawanSmith.com for all of my books. If you want to book me, Thousand Ties is 1000ties.net if they want to apply for the program, or if they want to sign up to be a mentor. And then for my consulting firm, schools can book me. It's the acronym for Getting Our Babies to College 101, so GOBTC101.com. It has a listing of all of our curriculum and what we offer, so they can reach me on all three.
Oh, listen, man, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me.
Man, this was fun, and we're in a library, y'all. We out here in an actual library setting. This was kind of cool because, studio's kind of stuffy sometimes. So I was kind of happy to have this moment with you. Thank you. All right. Till next time, y'all on the level. Talk to y'all later.